my lovelies, hope you're all doing well. Blush Lily here with another pick a card reading. And this one's going to be all about the shadow side of your future spouse. Now, the shadow sides are any aspects of our personality that are not accepted by our ego, by ourselves, or by the society. So, things like anger, greed, vanity, those types, those traits that are usually frowned upon, to say the least. Therefore, we sort of take them away and keep them in the shadow. Okay, but the thing is that we are and can only be complete and whole when we take that shadow side and integrate it with our so-called light side. Okay, because without that integration we can never be complete, whole and authentic. Without that integration we can never completely heal from loads of traumas and dramas that were the reasons for those shadow sides aspects. So guys, you need to understand that we all want somebody who's perfect, who's rich and handsome and abundant and mentally healthy and stable. But the truth is we all have a shadow side, and without realizing it, without paying attention or sort of facing that shadow side, and without healing it, we can never integrate it into ourselves, and we can never become whole. So while you're watching this reading, I want you to remember a few things. So first of all, this is a general reading, so it doesn't have to resonate with you. Okay, if it doesn't resonate with you, you can choose another pile. And another thing is that the shadow aspects that I'm going to be naming of your future spouse, it doesn't mean that they're going to be present, and it does not mean that they are going to be unhealed. Okay, it could be that it's just something that they had to deal with in the past and they went through, or it could just be something that this shadow aspect is so insignificant that you won't even notice it. So this is a bit of a different reading. Okay, so watch it if you dare, but don't sort of keep an open mind here, and don't sort of say, okay, well, I'm rejecting this is not my future spouse, and so on and so forth. After all, you've stumbled upon this reading for a reason, and maybe your higher self also wants you to sort of, take a look at the shadow aspects of your future spouse and maybe see something similar within yourself that in turn might trigger some sort of healing. All right, my lovelies, so let's get into the reading. So for today we have three gorgeous options. Option number one with this little green aventurine, option number two with an amethyst, and option number three has a sodalite. Okay, so take a deep centering breath in, make space for this reading, concentrate, see which pile or which crystal you're mostly drawn to, and we're going to go ahead and get started with option number one. Alright, my lovelies, so if you were drawn to option number one with the green aventurine, let's go ahead and take a look at the shadow aspects of your future spouse. Okay, so the cards we have over here are slow down, pause and allow things to unfold. We have deep knowing, lost lands, some memories and gifts. You've done this before. So I just want to say that your future spouse is an old soul, somebody who has been incarnating on this earth for quite some time. They're going to be incredibly wise, incredibly smart, somebody who's into reading, somebody who is very intelligent, and I feel that it's going to be your twin flame. It's more of a twin flame energy that I'm sensing over here. We have the trickster card, we have the mystic card, and there's also the child magical. So my lovelies, this is what I'm seeing for you. Like I said, your future spouse is absolutely, most definitely, incredibly smart man, incredibly smart woman. There's loads of a psychic connection, there's loads of sort of shaman energy, there's loads of starseed energy going on. This is definitely your a starseed and a twin flame. Okay, but let's get into the shadow attributes. So, memories and gifts, you've done this before. Slow down with deep knowing. So, what I'm seeing, I'm not going to take a look at these cards just yet. Based on these three cards, what I'm seeing is that they're going to be all rush. Sometimes they're going to be quite impatient. They don't like waiting for things, and because they almost feel like they have done it before, they already know, so they tend to be a little bit impatient with people, and maybe sometimes even look down on people who are like, and they're basically saying like, oh come on, this is so simple, how can you not get it? Because they have done it so many times and they know it, and for them it's frustrating when somebody doesn't know something, or doesn't like, or takes longer than what they think is needed to understand something. But again, it's not because they think that whoever doesn't get it is stupid or whatever, but it's because they think it's like it's so simple, like why are you not getting it? It's literally, it's like there, like can't you see it? Okay, but they don't understand how deep their knowledge goes, how like for them loads of things are obvious, but they tend to want to go, and I'm sometimes hearing that they might be burning themselves out. Okay, and then again this sort of frustration will come through. Another thing is that when they don't know something, because they're used to being the sort of the smart one, the intellectual, when they don't know something, it's almost like they feel like this weird sense of shame, and they try to cover it up, like with things like, well, I can't know everything, can I? Or sometimes one of the other aspects of them is that because they don't want to show people that they don't know something, they might assume, and it might not always be correct. They might just assume, things, and maybe the thing is, it's not done out of like with like malicious intent, but it's because they're like this side of their ego where they don't know. Like their ego's like, what do you mean you don't know? Like you have to know, like you have to know everything. Okay, and I think it has a lot to do with their childhood, where they were conditioned to be like the star pupil, where they had to get all of the good grades and they had to know all the answers, and that's why like them not knowing something is just like, it's almost like a tragedy or so of some sort. Yeah, so like I said, with the tricks, they're very smart, but sometimes they manipulate others through duplicity. That's what I kept feeling with the deep knowing, that sometimes they might sort of go into deception. But again, I don't feel that it's because they want to hurt somebody. It's a protection mechanism. It's like where they would rather sort of assume something or even make something up, instead of just admitting that they don't know, because they're seen as the wise one, because they're seen as somebody who's supposed to know. For them, not knowing, it's incredibly hard. So that shadow attribute, although it says manipulating, yes, for some of you it's manipulation, but manipulation in the sense that they're trying to make sure that they don't lose that image, that persona of the wise one. Okay, there's also a lot to do with mysticism, like I said, because it's an old soul, because it's a mysticism. I feel that this is going to be somebody who will want to look better than they actually are. For them, it's very important to be seen as somebody who's wise, for somebody who is accomplished. Okay, and delusional rapport with the divine. Yes, they might sometimes, again, it's going back to the trickster, they might sometimes get the information that comes from their ego, that comes from their this wounded side of them, and they might interpret it as information coming from the divine. And it sometimes can be that, you know, they might get a little bit they might get a little bit like, sort of like, I'm the chosen one, I'm the chosen one, I'm the chosen one to relay this message from the divine. Because the thing is, I see that they're very, very well read. I see that they actually do have psychic abilities. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But the thing is that sometimes they confuse that message of the divine with the message of the ego, with the message of their shadow self. And we also have the child magical, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Okay, so this is again somebody who's magical, because the light side is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Sometimes they get so burned out that they get this it says depression, but I'm getting more like apathy. I'm getting more like, because you know, apathy is not as severe. Apathy is just sort of like, and I feel it's like shorter in time because they're so burnt out. Disbelief in miracles. So it's almost like they're letting that voice, you know, that is not coming from the divine convince them that miracles do not exist. Miracles do not exist. So sometimes, even though they're very connected to the divine, even though that they're very, very magical, they sometimes, because of this burnout, they feel that this is all sort of a lie. This is all a facade. This is all, none of this really exists, you know. They like sort of lose their faith in magic. And there's this disbelief in miracles. They're like, you know what, this is not it. Like, there are no miracles. But then it's almost like they get their wind back, and they're back on track, and they're back in channeling, and they're back in, you know, sort of getting, like, moving the conventional out of the way, and back to that deep knowing, back to sharing knowledge, back to sharing the wisdom, because they're very, very wise. But they, like, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. So I feel that sometimes it could be that they just get this burnout, and that's why they sort of, it's almost like they can't be bothered to channel, they can't be bothered to like, you know, do the rituals and get the connection. So they just sort of take the information, the energy that is sort of on the surface, and like I said, it doesn't always come from the spirit. Our lovelies is so, but overall, this is a very, very beautiful person, honestly, very wise and very caring as well. But yeah, there's this definitely some sort of a childhood wound as well that's deeply affecting them. But then again, all of our childhood wounds are affecting us, and you know, everything that we deal with when we're adults, it usually stems from the childhood. Alright, my lovelies, so that's all I have for pile number 1. I hope this reading resonated with you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share and subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification button so you don't miss out any of my other upcoming videos. If you'd like a personal reading, you can always email me. The email's in the description box below. Alright, my dears, take good care of yourself now. Bye. Alright, my lovelies, so if you're drawn to pile number 2 with an amethyst, let's go ahead and take a look at your cards and see what is the what are the dark side of your future spouse, the shadow side. Okay, So we have simple acts of kindness. Kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you. We have new life. Not very shadowy so far, right? Lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. And then we have the Avenger, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. We have the Seeker, inability to commit to a path once found. And we have the Advocate, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Okay, so what I'm seeing is that you guys, pile number 2, your future spouse is actually such a sweet person. Your future spouse is just such a lovely person that even his or her shadow sides, shadow attributes are really not that bad. But compared to some like other energies that we have in the world today. But let's talk about it. So I'm seeing that your future spouse is actually going to be very, very caring, very, very giving, very compassionate. And I am seeing that your future spouse is going to be very closely connected to animals, very closely connected to I'm seeing maybe some farm animals as well, or children, some sort of social work, some sort of there's definitely loads of charities, okay, and they are just incredibly kind. However, like I said, there is the light and the shadow side to all of us. So what I'm seeing from just these 3, we'll get to those in a second. What I'm seeing is that they tend to be stuck in the past. New life talks about rebirth, talks about like bringing something new, but they tend to hold on to old things. They tend to want to bring the past with them, okay? And it goes in everything, and it goes like they're not flexible. They're very stuck in their ways, and if they think that this is working, even though it might not work as they want them to, or it might not even give them the energy that they need, it might not give them the emotions that they need, they're still stuck. So for them it's quite difficult to make those transitions. It's quite difficult for them to move to a new place because they get so attached. It's quite difficult for them to change careers, even though they feel that, this career might not be necessarily a good one for them. They get so attached and they're just like, no, you know what? I'm staying, okay? But then at the same time, they have inability to commit to a path once found. And this is the funny thing. It's like they keep trying new things, but with an old approach. Do you see what I mean? They keep trying new things and then sort of dropping it. New things, dropping it. New things, dropping it. But they keep approaching things from an old perspective. So it's not like they're doing something new with a new way of doing it. They're doing something new, but with the old sort of way of looking at it. And it's like, okay, this doesn't work. I don't like this. I'm still feeling, sort of move to another place, but I'm still feeling uncomfortable. Move to another place, I'm still feeling uncomfortable. Whereas they sort of, it has nothing to do with the place, it has a lot to do with their energy. But the thing is, what I'm also seeing over here with those beautiful cards, like I said, they might get stuck in the past, old ways of functioning, old ways of thinking. Their kindness, it comes from a beautiful place. However, their kindness also comes from the need to belong. Their kindness also comes with them. It's not that it's not unconditional kindness. Like they would never ask for something in return, but they sort of expect to get at least the energy of you know, of somebody being grateful, of somebody saying, wow, well done, of somebody appreciating them, of somebody, you know, like it's important for him or her to notice how they do those acts of kindness. Okay, so it could be things like you go to, you go like donate to a charity and then you sort of post it on Instagram, like, you know, like sort of, you know, I did this today. Or, you know, going to a dog pound and helping out with the dogs and still like posting it and taking pictures of it, or telling people, you know, sort of, because it's important for them to get that feedback, for them to understand that, you know, yes, they like sort of, yes, you did good. I'm sort of hearing like, yes, you know, like, well done. It's important for them. So this feedback is very, very important. Questioning everything unaligned must go. Yeah, it's hard for them to let things go. It's one of those traits, you know, when somebody sort of, when they feel or they see like somebody is not being completely honest or exaggerating, or maybe like just like doing something that they don't agree, they don't let it go, they don't let things slide. They sort of go like, oh, hold on a minute, didn't you say like, you know, this and this, and now you're sort of saying this and that. It's something along those lines, and they keep digging. So from one side, it's a very good trait to keep going and keep digging, look for the truth. But on the other side, again, sometimes I feel like they don't know when to stop, and they can get under people's skin without even realizing it. But they don't do it again to prove that they're like the best. They just literally, they can't understand why you would be changing your story, you know, or they have no, with them a lot of things are black and white, because they had to deal with a lot of things in their past. For them, when they see like if something is not aligned, when something is not okay, they sort of just say no, you know. So it's like boundaries taking to another level. They're just like, no, this is not for me. And this is where this like seeker card comes in, you know, this inability to commit to a path once found. It's almost like if it doesn't align with them, they won't even give it another chance. They won't even give it. But this is mostly like with things like careers and people and places. This is not to do with you, because with you, I feel this is absolutely a different story altogether. This is more like with what their life is, what their career is, what their hobbies are. We then have the Avenger, okay, resorting to violence in the name of a cause. I feel again they are trying to protect the nature. They're trying to protect. I'm almost seeing that, you know, there are peaceful protests, and then there are protests where unfortunately it gets out of hand. And this is what I'm seeing him or her doing. Like they're so passionate about a certain cause that it could be that they resort to like shouting, to even maybe pushing. But again, it's not to say that they're going to be violent towards you. They're not. They're not a violent person altogether. But like I said, like this shadow side, it could be a shadow side, because sometimes shadow sides, guys, they are repressed for like the whole life. Our whole life, you can repress the shadow side of you. So like I said at the beginning, that your future spouse is incredibly sweet and amazing, but the shadow side, the other side, would like to, you know, just fight for it, and sometimes even physically fight for a specific cause. So sometimes when they see somebody being mean to animals, or being mean to children, being mean for whatever, there could be a lawyer, there could be an advocate, and you know, instead of having to sort of abide by the law, and they just want to punch those people. Yeah. They just want to just rip them to pieces for being like literally so horrible to children or to animals or to women, to whomever, you know. But that shadow attribute, I feel in your future spouse, is very much restricted. It's very much suppressed because I feel that they have to, they might work with law, they might work as a policeman, they might work as a or policewoman, you know, but I feel like they will have to be more of a diplomat around about things. They could also be a doctor, I'm seeing, okay? And yeah, we have embracing negative cause or committing to causes for personal gain. Yeah, this is what I was saying, that sometimes they might be doing something to get a personal gain out of it. Sometimes they could be doing something just to feel, I'm hearing to feel alive. I'm hearing to feel like they matter, to feel that they're doing something, to really feel like that their presence matters. Again, all of those like shadow aspects of us, most of them, like literally 99%, go back to our childhood. And I feel that your future spouse, when they were little, they might have felt like they don't matter. Like, you know, when you're trying to say something or you're trying to talk to grown-ups and they just like brush you off. And it's like, what do you know? Oh, come on, just, you know, just don't waste my time, don't be this, don't be that. And I feel that whatever they're going to end up doing as a career or as a whatever charity they're going to support, whatever cause they're going to support, is going to be very, very close to their heart. It's going to be very close to their heart. And it's almost like through helping and through helping others overcome those difficulties, they're going to be healing that shadow attribute of themselves. They're going to be healing themselves, okay, and sort of letting go, because I am seeing what I was saying, guys, that your future spouse might be sort of changing jobs and changing careers and changing homes and changing countries because they just feel unaligned with something. I feel that they're going to heal it, and at the end they're going to be feeling present and grounded. And there's with this option, I'm really seeing loads of healing because of this very, very powerful new life card and this very powerful lifting the veil card. I feel that, again, they might be fighting for the nature. They might be very, very compassionate towards, you know, the trees being cut down, or maybe the rainforest, or how polluted our oceans are, you know. But it also has a lot to do with the fact that they feel that they're doing something, that they're useful. It's almost like they're trying to say, like, see mom, see dad, I actually matter. I'm actually doing something that matters. Are you proud of me? Are you proud of me? But that, like I said, it is going to be healed, and it might be healed even, like, it has to come out. Yes, of course it has to come out to the light to be healed, but I feel it's going to be quite fast. I really do. It's not going to like affect your marriage big time. It's not going to. Such a beautiful person that is. Seriously, such a beautiful person. This pile number 2, guys, your future spouse and you, I'm just feeling such beautiful energy here. It's amazing. But yes, there is going to be this new life awakening. I feel this spiritual awakening coming through over here quite strongly, hatching from that egg. And there is loads of like animals and loads of things that have to do with nature and things like this. So yeah, overall, like I said, this shadow aspect, those shadow attributes in pile number 2 are pretty light. So yeah, lovelies, I don't think there's anything to worry about here, to be honest. But it's always good to know. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated with you. Please like, share, subscribe. Be sure to hit that notification button so you don't miss out any of my other upcoming videos. If you'd like a personal reading, you can always email me. The email's in the description box below. All right, my dears, take good care of yourselves now. Bye. Alright, my dears, so if you're drawn to option number 3 with the soda light, let's go ahead and take a look at the shadow side of your future spouse, at the shadow attributes. Alright, so the first card that we have, listen with your heart. You're listening but need to hear with a loving heart. Alright, we then have flexible, jump in, Andromedian energy, adventure, say yes to change. Very similar energy to pile number 2, guys. Pioneer, compulsive need to keep moving. Companion, betrayal by misusing confidence, loss of personal identity. And we have engineer, reliance on mechanical solutions without regard for emotional consequences. So, the shadow aspects, guys, of your future spouse. Let me talk about his light or her light aspects first, because this is, again, somebody who is very, very sweet, very loyal, okay, and very unselfish. This is how you're going to know them. Somebody who's unselfish, somebody who feels that they have a lot to give. They're going to be quite passionate and very inventive, very inventive as an engineer. They're very creative, okay, and they're very good with their hands, designing solution to common dilemmas. They're going to help loads of people with their inventions. They're going to help people solve their issues. They could be a mechanical engineer. They could be like a 3D engineer as well. Or they don't have to work as an engineer, but just have this mind where they like to build things and design things, and maybe even like reverse engineer things to see how they work. You know, like take things apart and sort of rebuild them and make them better, and sort of constantly do something with their hands. They could be a builder, they could be an electronic engineer as well. Somebody who's very, I'm seeing also somebody who's very disciplined, somebody who's very set in their ways. And they're they're going to be very generous towards you and very loyal and very compassionate, like as a companion, both as as somebody who's who is a colleague, who's a romantic partner. They're just going to be known as, somebody you want to be with, somebody who's reliable, somebody who's just overall somebody who's a man or a woman of his or her word. And it's very nice. I feel that they're also going to be quite athletic for whatever reason. They're going to want to move, and this is where we come to their shadow side. Because of this flexibility, jumping in, sometimes like sport is it's not even sometimes, sport is a great thing, okay, but sometimes overdoing it, basically overdoing anything, is a coping mechanism. And I feel that your future spouse might use sports as a coping mechanism to do with overthinking, because their mind, I feel that their mind, I'm sensing a very strong Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energies over here. Their mind is on overdrive pretty much most of the time. They're thinking. They're thinking how to do this, they're thinking how to do that, okay? That's why we have this light bulb, and it's just like, I feel, but the thing is, I don't see it just being lit, I see it pulsating, okay? So sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. So and for them it's important, they're going to be quite competitive. For them, it's important to be number one at first. It's important for them to succeed. It's going to be a very masculine, I'm getting a very masculine energy over here. It's important for them to be number one. It's important for them to win in competitions. It's important for them to be acknowledged. It's important for them to get the praise. Compulsive need to keep moving on. This is what I'm seeing. Yeah, this is what I feel with the sports, and even with something that they might do. It's this energy of not being able to finish things, of getting bored with things, of being old-fashioned. This is what I hear as well, because with that flexibility, they're not actually going to be flexible. Their body is going to be very, very strong. Their body is going to be like, I feel like their body shape is going to be more like lean or muscular, or even on the bigger side, like a few extra pounds. It could literally be somebody who's quite large, okay? But I feel that they're not going to be flexible. I feel that they're going to be pretty straightforward in how they do things, pretty straightforward, you know, and that's why I feel that they might have this inability, this constant need to keep moving on, 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 to keep moving on. It's almost like they're going to feel like they're running away from something, okay? And that something is that energy that, you know, that it's time to adapt, it's time to change. So they're going to be quite resistant to change, and they're going to be they're not going to want to take risks. I'm seeing that they're going to want to be very much set in their ways. We also have this betrayal of misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. You see what I'm seeing, and with the listen to your heart, it might be that they just become this mechanical, because they keep doing things over and over and over again, and because they keep sort of they keep wanting to stick to things. They're going to be very logical, okay? And it could be that they are going to be, it's almost, you know what I'm getting, like this King of Swords energy over here. Okay, I feel like they're going to be more logical rather than emotional and compassionate. I feel like you're going to be more compassionate in that relationship. I feel that they're just going to be more logical and more about the solutions, rather than, like, their motto is I think and yours is I feel. Okay, and it's almost like they will not take risks. They will, like, the opposite of the Fool energy, the Fool that takes risks, that goes for it, that explores things. Your future spouse, their shadow attribute is about not wanting to take risks, about not wanting to feel. There's loads of there's a big thing where their heart might have been broken, where they have been let down, and I feel that they don't want to feel anymore. And that's why they also have those boundaries up, where they will listen, but they will not hear. For them, it's hard to have that compassion. Okay, you're going to be the compassionate one in the relationship. But again, those shadow attributes that I'm talking about, you guys, they only come to an extent. So the shadow attribute that I'm giving you now is an absolute extreme. It's like, you know, the polarity. But it could be manifesting in literally like 1% of what I'm saying. So it's not like they're not going to listen to you. It's not like they're not going to feel. Of course they are going to feel. Of course they're going to love. Of course they are going to still try new things. But they, like, something deep within them will reject it to one point or another, or they will be cautious of it. Okay, sometimes you might feel like they are disconnected because they don't have the resources to deal with whatever emotion you or whoever else is bringing to them. And again, it's a coping mechanism. It's I feel that they might be an orphan. I feel that they lost somebody very young, probably maybe even both their parents, or they always felt like they're an orphan, and that's why they had to shut it off. That's why they might have grown up in like foster care, or like in families where there's loads of people, and they might have been adopted, or just grew up in like in some sort of an institution where they had to fight, they had to be number one. Okay, and sometimes because they have gone through so much, when they listen to other people complain about something that just seems so insignificant for them, to them, they might just be like, you know what, are you seriously complaining about like that when I've been through this and this and this? So for them, it might just be that they choose not to, because they had to learn to shut off the drama, to shut it out, to not let it like permeate their being. They might still have it when, you know, when you guys are married, but again, to an extent. And I just want to talk about this one a little bit more. Betrayal by misusing confidence. They might, loss of personal identity, yeah, they might be, they might be not in touch with their authentic self. Again, it's all about shutting yourself off, because I remember during some difficult times of mine, to deal with that trauma that I couldn't process at a very early age, what I did is I just dove into studying, because it would take my mind away from things, and I wouldn't have time to think about what was going on or how hurt I was. And it is absolutely not healthy, but this is what I had to do. This is what was best for me then, from my point of view. This is like all I could do with the knowledge and the information I had, like when I was 11 years old. And I just dove into studying. I was like such a good student, because all I did was studying. But that was, you know, me of a way of escaping the world, a way of dealing with, or rather not dealing with, the pain and the agony and the trauma that I was going through back then. And I feel that with your future spouse, it's the same thing. It's a loss of identity. But when you shut out your feelings, you shut out yourself, and again, this loss of identity happens, and you're like, well, who am I? What am I feeling? And with time, if you continue it to carry on, it literally it messes up with you so bad that you don't understand what it is you're feeling, or are you even feeling. Okay, so for you guys, again, like I said, it doesn't have to be that extreme, because still they are still going to feel, they're still going to love you very much. And like I said, they're very bright, and they're actually very, very loyal. But sometimes I feel like they might wonder, what if, like this is what I'm hearing, like what if my life turned out to be different? What if I had a different spouse? What if I had a different career? What if that? What is this? What if, you know? But then they still come back, and they still understand, you know, they come back to the understanding that they are who they are because of everything that happened. They are who they are, and they wouldn't change a thing, especially their beautiful husband or wife, which is you, my lovelies. Alright, so that's all I have for pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated with you. Please like, share and subscribe. Make sure to hit that notification button so you don't miss out any of my other upcoming videos. If you'd like a personal reading, you can always email me. My email's in the description box below. Alright, my lovelies, take good care of yourselves now. Bye!